First Lady of Pakistan, my cabinet colleagues and parliamentarians, members of the diplomatic corps, distinguished guests from the Asia Pacific and beyond, esteemed international experts, regional leaders, respected colleagues from across Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning. It's a profound honor to welcome you to Karachi, the capital of Sindh, for the Asia Pacific Shelter and Settlement Forum 2026. I especially thank First Lady of Pakistan, Ms. Asma Bhutto Zardari, for gracing this occasion. This forum represents the largest and most significant regional gathering dedicated to housing, shelter and human settlements. It brings together policymakers, practitioners, development partners, academics, and innovators from across Asia Pacific region, united by a shared commitment to ensure safe, resilient, and dignified housing for all. The Asia Pacific region is one of extraordinary diversity and immense dynamism, from snow-capped mountain ranges to coastal plains, from megacities to remote rural communities. This region is home to billions of people whose resilience, culture, and creativity continue to inspire the world. Yet it is also a region on the front lines of climate vulnerability and rapid urban transformation. I am particularly pleased to see strong participation from academia, donor agencies, the private sector, civil society, and government institutions across Pakistan. Your presence here reflects a shared understanding that sustainable housing solutions require partnership, innovation, and collective resolve. Sindh is proud to host this forum. It is especially meaningful for us because our province is home to what is today world's largest housing reconstruction initiative, the Sindh People's Housing for Flood Affectees. Envisioned under the leadership of Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, this initiative has emerged as a global model for climate resilient construction and inclusive recovery. What began as a response to an unprecedented disaster has evolved into a transformative development intervention. You've heard about the project. Khalid Sheikh just told you how we went about. He did mention that it was envisioned by Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari. I would like to tell you the story behind this project. We've all, we'll be talking about this project for the next couple of days. You've learned about this project after it was started. But how did it all come along? We were hit by catastrophic floods in the Sindh. Nearly 70% of the province was submerged. And as you all know, over 2.1 million houses were damaged and destroyed. Entire communities were displaced. It was one of the gravest humanitarian crises in our history. Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, who was also the foreign minister of Pakistan at that time, cancelled all his visits. He was to visit a few countries as the foreign minister, but during this time of crisis, he wanted to be with his people. So he went around, and this flood struck us around August of 2022. So he went around, and every place that he went to, one complaint or one tragedy that everybody was talking about, because we had moved people, we had created shelters for them, we had created tent cities, providing them food, providing them with medicines. And wherever he went, the chairman was told, and I'll just say that in Urdu, कि साईं हमारे घर से, I'm translating this, probably done this without translating it in Urdu, हमारे घर से छत निकल गई है, हमें घर बना के दें. Now, I was with him in most of his visits. I have seen floods before in the province. I remember as a child the 73 and the 76 floods, especially the 76 floods, because my village at that time was completely submerged in water. Then there were floods later on, but after that I remember the 2010 flood, and some people talked about that flood here today. Again, almost the same level of damage was done in 2010, but if you combine 2010, 2011 and 2012, the entire province was submerged in these three floods. And in 2022, the three floods combined were the 22 flood, because the entire province, both sides of River Indus, were completely submerged. Now, in all these floods, I'm talking about 73, 76, there was flood in 94, if I remember correctly, 96, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2020, and the 2022 flood. We had never endeavored into construction of houses. We never thought about it. Now, we did think about it, but the quantum of damage or the quantum of relief that was to be given was so huge that we could not even think about it. So, Chairman Bilawal tells me, he's visiting these people, and he turns around and says, in Urdu ki ji, mujhe to ek hi demand nazar aa rahi hai, इनको हमें घर बना के देने पड़ेंगे. So it just tells me, by the way, that Chief Minister, I'm hearing this complaint and we need to make houses for these people. And I just thought it was a passing remark and he'll forget about it. But next day, when we met, and he said, Chief Minister, आपने क्या सोचा? Chief Minister, what have you thought about what I told you yesterday? And I lied. I said, sir, I'm working on it. I hadn't thought about it. So that night, I huddled a few people together. I said, chairman wants this. And they were like smiles on all the faces. There's something not possible. We will not be able to do it. And I said, no, we need to try. So we sat down and did some numbers. And at that time, we were told about 1.6 to 1.8 million. Later on, it was 2.1 million houses are damaged. And we did some quick math. And, it turned out that we'd need about 600 billion rupees. It's about $2 billion. And I said, now, everybody said this is not possible. At that time, our annual development budget was between 100, what we could spend, the government of Sindh was between 100 to 150 billion rupees. So 4 to 6 years of our development budget had to be set aside in order to build these houses. So again, when I went to see the chairman, I told him, sir, it's not possible. We will not be able to do it. And he told me, no, I want you to do it. I said, okay. And I am really grateful. The first organization that came to our help was the World Bank. And I spoke with the country director. We were at that time discussing with them flood rehabilitation. And this is sometimes in September. So we started talking, and the country director at that time told me that I've talked to the board members, I've talked to my seniors, and they said that apart from the other interventions that we're doing, we might be able to contribute about $500 million for this project. So I said, okay, that's a start. That's 25% of the work done. So I told the chairman, I found success. I've got a few days later, I told him I found the first organization which is willing. But they said, you have to put in your own money also. So he asked me, how much can we put in? I said, sir, we can do about 50 billion rupees, which is about $200 million, a little over $200 million. And I said, we need to get the federal government in. And they had to match our contribution. So he spoke with the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister couldn't say no to him. He said, we're putting in $200 million, 50 billion rupees, you have to put in the same amount. So we got about $900 million in about a week's time. And that gave us the confidence that this is something that can be done. And a couple of months later, December 19th, 2022. So this is, where we're still recovering from the flood. The World Bank has its meeting. Now, it all depended on this first $500 million, whether we could get it. And 19th of December 2022, there was a big package that we presented to the World Bank. It was $1.7 billion, $500 million for this, for road reconstruction, for school reconstruction, for irrigation, rehabilitation, canals. And they approved $1.7 billion for us on the 19th of December 2022. Less than a month later, again, Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, being the foreign minister, was able to convince the Prime Minister and the Prime Minister in turn, because during that period, the UN Secretary General had come to Pakistan and he had visited the flood-affected areas. And the government of Pakistan, along with the United Nations, did a international conference on climate resilient Pakistan in Geneva. It was the 9th of January, 2023. And on this date, the government of Sindh, presented our case for this project. And during that conference, the Asian Development Bank committed $400 million. The Islamic Development Bank committed $200 million. It took a few months for the boards to approve this, but we were well on our way. And as Khalid Sheikh told you, in February 2023, in this very room, we got our other partners in, and Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari made a passionate appeal to them. And there we are, 3 years, less than 3 years from then, we've not only were able to get all the financing arranged, we've completed almost 800,000 houses. We are on our way of reconstructing more than 1.5 million houses, and we are there. Inshallah, in this calendar year, we'll complete our project, the 2.1 million houses that we're doing. So at that critical moment, a clear commitment was made with every affected family. They would receive shelter. This was made by Chairman Pakistan People's Party Bilawal Bhutto Zardari. And today I stand here before you to say that we were able to honor that commitment. And though Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari is not here today, he wanted to be. Unfortunately, the dates clashed with the Munich Security Summit, where he is right now. I do want all of us to applaud his leadership, his vision, which enabled the government of Sindh to fulfill this project. We did not merely rebuild houses, we rebuilt hope. We rebuilt confidence, and we did so at unprecedented scale, settling new benchmarks for transparency, accountability, and speed in post-disaster recovery. What truly distinguished Sindh's approach and what has drawn global attention is our beneficiary-driven reconstruction model. We placed communities at the center of decision-making. Families were not treated as passive recipients of aid. They became partners in rebuilding their houses. Women in particular were empowered to lead the reconstruction process. This was not only about infrastructure, it was about dignity, it was about ownership, it was about socio-economic transformation. Just last week, and the country director of the World Bank spoke about this, the president of the World Bank, Mr. Ajay Banga, visited homes built under the SPHF initiative in the district of Larkana. His visit reflects international recognition and confidence that this initiative has earned. Through SPHF, Sindh has demonstrated that large-scale recovery can align with innovation, transparency, and social inclusion. We have shown that resilience is not built for people, it is built with people. Climate change does not recognize borders. The floods that devastated Sindh are a part of global climate reality that many countries across the Asia-Pacific region face today. That is why we are committed to sharing our experience, learning from others, and strengthening regional collaboration. Resilience is a collective endeavor. We must learn together, innovate together, and build together. I thank all our international and national partners, development institutions, experts, and delegates for being part of this important dialogue. Let this forum reaffirm our shared resolve that every family, regardless of geography or income, deserves access to safe, resilient, and dignified housing. Thank you very much all, and once again, welcome to Sindh. Pakistan Zindabad.